guys, I know in the live feed this morning I said I probably wasn't going to do this, but some of my plans for the day have changed. I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I have packages that I have to be here to sign for. My wife still isn't feeling well. I'm going to probably get supper ready. She was really sick. But, so you see those black lines on there? Those black lines were a reference point for me to find the chips in this blade that I was telling you guys about. Now, I do know that there is a lot of people that argue with me about S30v. Hopefully these chips are gone by now. Chipping. Vinny Nero has done things where he shows him cutting and things like that, and then he doesn't have any problem with chips. Now, this knife was still very sharp, but it had those chips. So I'd like to, to address what I think is happening. I think that S30v is a little bit brittle. That's all I'm thinking, is it's a little bit brittle and it chips. It's still a really good steel and it takes a very keen edge, but I've had S30v chip a lot of times. I've had a lot of knives come to me. Plug you guys in here, make sure I got juice. There we go. So I'm thinking that a lot of it has to do with the brittleness of the steel. So that we can avoid any comments about, oh, it's the way you sharpened it, you didn't use the right stones. I've used the same stones on S30v that I use on other steels, and never had a problem with chipping. I am using and have been using these diamond matrix stones, so it's not a matter of not being able to cut the carbides, as people say. And like I said, Elliot and I don't honestly have talked about it, and Elliot and I neither one think that it is an issue. But I have had several knives that I've owned in S30v that chipped, and I've had more than several. I've had a lot of customer knives come in that they said, hey, it just doesn't feel, it feels like it doesn't feel like it's cutting and things like that. And then you run your thumbnail down the blade and you feel some chipping. Now, I use this knife a lot, but it never gets heavy use because it's just not that kind of knife. So I went back through and I thought of all the things that I may have used this knife for. Majority of what I use this for, opening letters. It's in my pocket, I pull it out, it's a left-hand carry. I've cut a couple apples with it. But other than that, I really have not, this has never been heavy used. It's been a grail knife that I wanted for a long time, and now that I have it, it's one of those things where I don't want to screw it up, So, I don't exactly know what's causing the issues with chipping in S30v. I do know that I have never gotten a knife in S30v from ZT that chipped. I do know that. So I don't know if it's maybe something to do with the way Benchmade has been heat treating S30v. So I really can't speak to it, but I'm just telling you, I'm putting up a picture so that you can see it. I got one of the chips real clear. It's really hard to get these things in focus with that little microscope. I gotta take it out of its bracket, and I had to drop it down and hold it and then push the button on top to snap the pictures and focus with the ring. So it is awkward. So I did get one really good shot of the chip. And like I said, I don't see any scratching on the blade around that chip that would be indicative of hitting something hard or cutting through something hard. So, I mean, it did get used, but not real heavy use. So here's the picture.
So as you can see here, guys, I circled these. There's a couple small little chips up forward, but the one that I was really feeling and could see is the one that you see on the right. It's a fairly deep chip, but there's others further down the blade as well.
And like I said, I don't know what would be causing it. It's still got a little bit of a chip there that I've got to take out. And I'm not trying to go real aggressive with this, but we'll see how this feels after. And then I will give you guys an update on this as I use it, and I'm going to kind of keep in my mind what I'm going to use this knife for. And it's just going to be light cutting tasks. And we're going to see how that holds up. So I just thought about it. I said it in the live feed. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to carry this as light duty use for like a week or two and see how the edge holds up. See if I can't put my finger on, every time I use it, I'm going to try myself to. So you guys know this is how I check it. I take my thumbnail and I just barely touch it, and then I drag it from tip to heel and see if I feel any chips. If I'm not feeling any chips after like a week or two of light duty use, it's about time that this actually got some hard use. It was a grail knife for a while, and I was so excited about having it, I didn't want to scratch the finish or anything like it on it. So I think it's time for this to get some actual hard use. So what we'll do is we'll do like a week or two of light duty use, and then we'll come back and we'll revisit this and see how it's holding up. And then we'll do a week or two of hard use, cutting wood, cutting cardboard, things like that, and see how it holds up after that. So maybe we can put our finger on, you know, what's doing it. I can't think of, like I said, I couldn't think of anything that would have caused it, but you know, this just, as I'm editing, I realized it would be a good idea to do this in like two different time frames with the light cutting tasks. And when I say light cutting tasks, maybe cutting open a package from a customer, maybe a little bit of cardboard. I don't, like if I'm breaking down boxes, a lot of boxes, this knife, while it is ergonomic and comfortable, it's not comfortable for a lot of heavy cutting because the handle's real thick, and so you wind up using more muscle to hold onto the knife than you would, say, a broader knife. To tell you the truth, one of the best things I have for cutting down boxes is this with this serrated blade, and I'll tell you why. It's nice and broad and wide, and you're not using a lot of muscle. The further you're bringing your hand in, the more muscle you're engaging, and you're gonna wear your hands out. The thicker, broader the handle, the easier it is for me to hold and cut. So we just keep an eye on it and things like that. I'm not 100% sure what could have caused it, but we're gonna keep a good eye on thinking about what I'm gonna cut with this knife from here on out. But yeah, it's weird. I'm not the only person that said anything about it. Birdshot asked me one time about it, and I told him that I was having problems with chipping, even with light cut, and it was Benchmade. It was Benchmade Bug Out, I believe. I can't remember what one. It might have been a. No, I was telling him about a Mel Purdue design, the really skinny one, and it chipped all the time. Any of them I ever got chipped real easy. So I'm trying to see where we're at on this. But yeah, this is just a real quick thing. Like I said, the picture's in. I don't have problems with chipping in other steels. S30v is much less prone to chipping. I've never had a 20CV blade chip. And why I can't say that. I did one time chip a 20CV blade, but that's because I slid through the material and I hit a piece of metal. I've actually dropped 20CV blades on the ground, and they damaged the concrete way worse than they ever damaged the blade. So not trying to say that S30v is a bad steel, because it's not. It's a relatively good steel. It does hold an edge very well if it's heat treated properly. But the problems I've always had with S30v is that, so you get all the things that make a super steel a pain. It's wear resistant. It's hard to sharpen. It's hard to get an edge on, and things like that. So you get the negatives, but I don't see it being that many positives, because I don't see it holding an edge better than steels that are easier to work with and sharpen. Like I said, I feel as though it's prone to chipping. And like I said, it doesn't hold an edge any better to me than like S35VN that's been done with, like, say, WE knives heat treat. So I think you just get the negatives, but not as much of the positives. I don't dislike the steel. I will tell you, once you get it sharp, it takes a super, super keen edge. But it's more akin to, like, I've told you guys, XHP. I don't see XHP, if it's not heat treated well, it feels gritty. The edge just doesn't want to take a fine edge. So I don't know. We're gonna play it by ear. We're gonna see what this is. And this knife only goes to 1,000 grit. I don't take it above 1,000 grit because it's something that I use for tasks. This is a worker style knife. It's used for tasks where I don't necessarily want a super fine edge, and it's not going to be something that I carry at a show to show off. It's just kind of it's been a grill knife for me, but it is one of those knives. It's just kind of a plain Jane, not this high-end stuff that I want to carry when I go to a show or something like that. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I got a bunch of shipping set up. My internet, obviously, if you watched the live feed this morning, the internet issue has been resolved somewhat. I was still having, even though the guy that came this time argued with me about, he's like, population shouldn't matter on the boards and stuff like that. But I'm still running into, even though he argued with me about it, I'm still running into issues where at specific times, like that's why I'm not doing a live feed right now, my Wi-Fi drops off. Pretty much the same time every day. You can pretty much set your watch by it. And it's times where people predominantly get on the internet. So, that all being said, just a quick video. Those pictures, that picture, I'm sorry if it looks way worse than it actually is. Like, you couldn't see it with the naked eye. That microscope is about I forget if it's a 7,000 power or like 3,000 power, something like that. So, you know, it gets in pretty close and you get a pretty good view of that. But I'm just taking some time right now. This is like my lunch break. I just wanted to get this knife sharp so that I could tell you that we're going to do an overtime testing of this edge and how it holds up against light duty tasks. We're not going to be doing any of the heavy cutting. We're not going to cut anything that might have staples and stuff in it. Just so I can, this stone cuts well. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing else going on. I would like to remind everybody, I've said it in a couple of the videos recently, this weekend there will be no work getting done. If you have a knife here for me for refinish, it will not get started probably until next weekend, because the fact is I do that on weekends. I can't go to the Farm Forge shop and bogart their equipment. And during the week, I'm busy enough here with other stuff that I can't just take a night and go up there. So stuff for refinish gets done on weekends. It will not happen this weekend. It's going to be basically a weekend where I'm with my daughter and wife the entire weekend because we have skating competitions. So, and if you guys want to support that, like always, down below in the description, there's going to be a link to the GoFundMe. If you guys like the videos, because I'm signing off, so you guys take it easy, and I'll see you next time. But if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but tell me why. In this corner will be a subscription link. Down in this corner will be Patreon if you so choose to do that. Over here will be a video that YouTube thinks you like, and down below will be my last actual video upload, as opposed to a live feed. I don't want it to be a live feed. So, with that being said, you guys take it easy. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.